So welcome to my channel, A Voice Down Under. My name is T. On this channel, I like to break down the hypnotic and mind control techniques of Lafayette Hubbard. In today's video, I will just be breaking down a short section of lecture 425 from the St. Hills Special Briefing course. I'll be stopping the video regularly and just giving my insight on how these lectures can affect the human brain, the way we think. And let's not forget that Hubbard was a master hypnotist before he started Scientology.
Now the other one is that St. Hill had to be declared in a condition. Now, a declaration of a condition is something new, but we've been using this, nevertheless, for some little time, and that is strictly a condition is an operating state. Organizationally, it's an operating state. And oddly enough, in the MEST universe, there are several formulas connected with these operating states.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop it right there. So what sounds like a harmless management idea is actually a confusion tactic. Hubbard calls declaring a condition something new, then says it's been used for some little time.
A declaration of a condition is something new, but we've been using this, nevertheless, for some little time.
That contradiction quietly trains the listener to accept two opposing truths at once. Over time, this softens logical boundaries. You stop asking, does that make sense? And start asking, what does Hubbard mean? That shift from internal reasoning to external authority is the seed of control. When a person hears contradictions framed as wisdom again and again, their critical filters erode. They become conditioned to treat confusion as depth. Lafayette loved the confusion technique. He used it in many of his lectures and writings. Anyway, let's continue.
And if, for instance, England, the British government knew these, or the United States government knew these, they wouldn't get in very much trouble. But as it is, they don't know them and they get into a great deal of trouble. There are apparently certain formulas which have to be followed in this universe, or you go appetite over tin cup. I'll give you an idea of the emergency formula. The emergency formula, of course, we're more accustomed to being in a state of emergency on this planet than we are in any other state. And nevertheless, there is a certain way that you handle an emergency. And an emergency status is declared simply and only by a down statistic. That is to say, the statistics went down. It doesn't matter what statistics. If they were supposed to go up and they went down, why, that's an emergency. Now, the reverse can take place. The reverse can take place. Let's take the number of students in a unit. Let's say it keeps going up. And it goes going up. And it doesn't go down. Do you see? Then obviously the students aren't being graduated from the unit at the same rate they're being put into the unit, so there must be a slowdown in that unit of some kind or another, so that will create a state of emergency too. So it's the desirable statistic has not been attained, and the statistic which should go down goes up, or the statistic which should goes up goes down. Now let's take the gross income of an organization at large. That has to do with let us say, a drop, and it's a consistent drop. 1 week we don't pay any attention to. 2 weeks we start paying attention to. 3 weeks, well, then we jolly well pay attention to it, don't you see? And if it consistently does this in an organization and shows down, down, down for 4 consecutive weeks, we declare them in a state of emergency.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, what the heck is he going on about? Up and down and this, that and the other. But basically, what he's saying is that no matter what you do, it's not right. He defines an emergency as any time a statistic drops, but then says if the wrong stat goes up, that's an emergency too. So basically, no matter what happens, you're always in trouble. That's a double bind, a psychological trap. When every outcome can be called failure, you stay anxious, you work harder, and you rely on the leader to tell you when you're doing okay. Over months or years, that anxiety becomes the default setting. And we see this so much in Scientology with staff members and people trying to get up the bridge even. That's how people in these systems lose confidence in their own sense of success or failure. So it's another control technique.
Now, there's several policy letters connected with this, which I won't particularly bother to delineate, but there are certain actions which one has to undertake when a state of emergency is declared. The first of these actions is well, you can say promote. That applies to an organization. To an individual, you'd better say produce. That's the first action. Regardless of any other action, regardless of anything else, why, that is the first thing they have to put their attention on. Very often you will find out that at the moment that the emergency was noticed. Well, let's take you, and you find your money is going downhill at a great rate, and you're not getting as much money in as you should have been getting in, and there's less and less money, and so forth. Well, you actually are in a state of emergency.
Okay, he literally says the first thing you should do in an emergency is produce regardless of anything else. Like, seriously? No pause, no thinking about what caused the problem, just work harder. That teaches people to ignore their limits and feel guilty if they stop to breathe. You end up thinking exhaustion equals success, and over time, that mindset just grinds you down until you don't even remember what rest feels like. This can be dangerous to a person's health both physically and mentally. For example, I've known of ex-members that just don't know how to stop working, even on their deathbed, asking for the work diary, going against doctor's orders, just not being able to switch off.
Now, the proper thing to do, according to Mr. Villeson, a Satan that wandered in from someplace, well, he did. He had an ambition to end Britain, and that's libel and slander, so we have to cut it off the tape. But anyway, he really made the statement. He says England should be a fourth-class power, and he's making his postulate. You didn't know that he said that? Oh, yes, ma'am. That's a matter of publicized public statement made right after leaving the United States before he was elected. Anyhow, he's making it. But now you see he finds the organization called the government in a poor state economically. So he economizes. The United States government does this all the time. As soon as they find out that their treasury balance doesn't equal their squid-a-woof and the ideas of the Secretary of the Treasury that he just got from the first cell of the Communist Party or wherever it is, or wherever they get their ideas, the United States government, you know, runs its economics today straight out of Karl Marx' Das Kapital. If you don't believe it, read Das Kapital if you can. It sounds awfully rabble-roused and very extreme, but it happens to be a very banal statement. It's even been noticed by the Wall Street Journal. The formula of economics in Das Kapital is from each according to his ability to pay, and to each according to his need.
So his tone shifts. He starts cracking jokes about politicians and communists, just roasting everyone, really. And people laugh, right? It feels like harmless banter. But what he's really doing is separating us from them. It's like he's saying, we're the smart ones and they're the idiots. That kind of humour pulls you in, makes you feel part of the inner circle, but it also kills empathy for anyone outside it. You start to think outsiders are just stupid or evil. And after years of that kind of talk, it messes with how you see the world. It's not funny anymore. It's conditioning.
Socialism. That's the formula of taxation contained in Karl Marx's Das Kapital, written about 1879, something like that. See? And the governments of the world are following this today. And these capitalistic governments are having a ball with this. Well, now, supposing when they find that they're going broke, they economize. Supposing they take that as their first step. Every time they recover from an emergency, they will be smaller and less able. If that's all they do. Do you follow? They have violated this actual formula of emergency. There is an actual formula of emergency. It does exist in this universe. It's in the woof and warp of the universe itself, and its first line is, the first broad, big action which you take is promote. You better jolly well promote. And that carries with it, on the part of an individual or factory, the idea that he better make his intentions known, and so on.
Okay, so he starts off by calling an emergency a kind of universal law, like it's baked into the fabric of the universe. Then he says the first rule is to promote. Straight away, that gives his idea this cosmic truth vibe, which makes people stop questioning it. It's a sneaky way of saying, this isn't just my rule, it's the way the universe works. That's how he gets authority without ever proving anything. If you keep hearing that tone for hours, you start thinking, well, maybe he really does know something deeper. That's how belief starts to turn into dependence.
Now, after you've promoted, and after you've got that well in hand, you economize. But you have to do that first. Don't worry about economy. Bother about promoting. Exactly what is promotion? Well, look it up in the dictionary. It's making things known. It's getting things out. It's getting oneself known, getting one's products out, or something like this.
So next he goes, don't economise, always promote. So don't save money first, always promote. It's the total opposite of common sense, right? That's the point. By flipping logic on its head, he's training people to second-guess their own instincts and follow his steps instead. It's subtle, but every time he redefines what's smart, he's rewiring how followers think.
In the form of an artist, the idea, he finds his statistics are shot. He suddenly looks up one day and the bank balance is down to nothing and that sort of thing, and the landlord is camping on the first landing and so forth. Wow. He must, first and foremost, promote. He better take those 3 Academy paintings that he was busy dabbling with, and he better sit up all night long and finish those things real fast. He better wrap up all those other paintings that he'd already finished. He better get them off to a gallery awful quick, and he better call up a press boy of some kind or another and say, I am having an exhibition. See, and it didn't matter how many pounds, shillings, or pence he had to borrow to make the phone calls or put the ad in the paper or get some literature printed that he was having an exhibit. He said, it didn't matter. Promote, man. Let's get it up there. Let's get it out there. Let's get the line straightened up, see? Now economize. You follow? And then, I'm giving you the very rough formula, and then he's got to prepare to deliver. Now, he actually, during his promotion, could have sold 6 paintings. Well, then he economized, and then he paints them and delivers. You got the idea? So it's in that action. And when you find your statistic is down, you first have to promote. And then you got your promotion well in hand, then you better economize. And then you jolly well better prepare to deliver. And that's the 1, 2, 3. If you do it backwards, you've had it.
Then he gives this story about an artist. Work fast, borrow cash, hype a show. It's all adrenaline and zero reflection. That kind of story makes you feel pumped and reckless. It's psychological momentum. You get high on the idea of action, not results. Over time, that keeps people in a constant grind mindset. Anyway, I've had enough of listening to him droning on. I can't do it for too long. But if you'd like me to carry on and finish this lecture, which is over 1 hour and 10 minutes long, or if you'd like me to dissect another lecture by Hubbard, let me know in the comments. But what do you think? Is this mind control? What do I think? Bloody oath it is. Not in the movie hypnosis sense, but in the psychological one. Through repetition, jargon, fear, and self-blame. After hundreds of hours, a person's inner voice starts sounding like him. That's the real danger, when you can't tell where your thoughts end and his begin. The reason I make these videos and do what I do is in the hope that it saves people from wasting their lives in this money-grabbing cult. I do it because I have friends who have been hurt, and I do it because I genuinely care about others. If you would like to join the movement, please check out the links in my description, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or share to spread awareness and show that there is a decent, welcoming community out here for people who want to leave and feel trapped. There is support and people who understand. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.